There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. Tonight we have a guest that is going to be sharing a werewolf encounter that she has had in the past, and she's going to tell us everything that she's seen. It takes a strong person, guys, to be able to tell these encounters. It takes a lot out of our guests that do this. It takes a lot of courage to come on and talk about something as I don't know, maybe damaging, if you will, because I know that it has a huge effect on people whenever this happens. And it had a huge effect on me whenever it first happened. So, what we got going on here tonight is we have went live, and it's just going to be me and Jesse here tonight, but I do want to ask for prayers for Amanda for she's having, I think, some more issues, and we could ask for some prayers for her. Guys, I don't like to leave our guests waiting, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her in just a second, but I do have a question for the chat. And the thing is, we got a lot of rain tonight, and in this area, as y'all know, we're flooded anyways, so I wasn't able to do a boots on the ground tonight. If I was to go out tomorrow, I might even drag mom along with me, and I was to do a live and try to find a place to do a boots on the ground for Sunday, would you all like to ride around with me and look at the flooded areas while I look for a boots on the ground place, or would you rather me just find it and go boots on the ground Sunday? Let me know what y'all would like to see, and if y'all want to hang out with me tomorrow while we look for a place to go boots on the ground, just let me know. Go live tomorrow, and if you want to wait till Sunday, just wait till Sunday. But I'll do either one. It's whatever y'all want. Just let me know real quick what y'all want me to do, and I will do that, and we'll get our guest on here in just a second. I'd watch a road trip of the flooded areas. All right, Chester sounds cool. Randy wants to go. He wants me to come pick him up. Road trip, both. Everybody says go live, road trip. All right, looks like we're taking an abnormal road trip tomorrow, guys. I'm even going to get mom along with us. I'll get her drug in the car, and we'll go see if we can find a place to go boots on the ground Sunday. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jesse on, and then shortly after, guys, we will do the prayer list after the show. Like I said, I don't like to leave the guests waiting. I like to get them on and get them going. I think we're going to get Kaylee to join us tonight on the live. She's going to sit in here and ask some questions. She actually has a new haircut, guys. She shaved the side of her head and left the hair on the other side where she could comb it over. So she's kind of got that military look going on right now. All right, so I want to go ahead and bring Jesse on real quick, and we will start getting this show on the road.
Hello.
And as you can see, we have a werewolf in the background, since we're talking about werewolves tonight.
Oh, and it's set up like the creepy eyes are right underneath too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's going to be a big part of her story. Is going to be the eyes. Kaylee, we got your chair right here. Come on over.
I want to see the haircut.
Do it. She said she's going to shave her head and come on later. All right. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. And again, it takes a lot of courage for these people to come on the show and to share their encounters. So please, show respect in the chat. I am stricter when we have guests than I am with just myself. So please show our guests respect, which I shouldn't have to ask our normal people, but you always have those that like to show up. And don't forget, our moderators are on high alert. So we have all of our moderators in here tonight. Good to see everybody. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Erica.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you well. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little nervous.
Oh, no need to be nervous. You're just hanging out with us. We're like the abnormal people on the internet, right?
Well, I'm at a safe place, so I feel comfortable.
There you go. That's the main thing. As long as you feel like you're within good company, right?
Exactly.
Oh, we got a lot of rain today, so thank you for pushing up your encounter and coming on at last minute's notice. I was wanting to go live tonight, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out. So we're going to have to work something out tomorrow to get to go live on Sunday. So thank you very much for the last minute notice of coming on.
No problem. I'm actually
no-
just kind of ready to get the story told.
Another question I had for you also is, are you okay taking questions from the audience, or do you
I
not
am.
want to take? Okay, it's however you want to do it. I always let our guests pretty much run the show because I want you to be comfortable. That is the number one thing that I want for you. If I, in fact, ask you a question, or if Jesse asks you a question that you do not feel comfortable answering, just say, I would rather not answer that, and we will move on. And it is totally fine. We don't care either way. We just want you to be comfortable because you being here already shows a huge amount of courage. So thank you for showing up.
Yeah. In the words of Steve Ishdahl, nobody's gonna ridicule me or shame me into saying I didn't see what I saw, because a lot of people tried.
Heck yeah.
They will. And I don't think you could get any. I like Steve Ishdale. I think he's a really, really awesome guy.
Mhm.
And, D.A. Roberts is another one. Really
I've
good
never heard of
guy.
him.
Oh, you got to check him out. D.A. is a great author, has a lot of great material. He's got some great encounters. He was on our show. You should go listen to that one. His
I will. What?
encounter, oh, it was absolutely terrifying.
Ugh. They're nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
It shattered my worldview. These are things that we're told our whole lives don't exist.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. I was lucky I don't know if you'd call it lucky, but I grew up around them. So I always knew they existed, and my family never told me they didn't. We were actually told the opposite, that they are outside and they will hurt you.
Yeah.
So I spoke
I
to you
think
the other.
that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think after my encounter, when I finally did find your channel and Vic's channel and stuff, it helped me tremendously. And that's one reason I'm telling my story, if it can help one other person,
Hey, we appreciate you coming on and telling it. Absolutely. And I spoke to you the other day. We had a small conversation over your encounters, and we can do this one of two ways. I can kind of walk you through what we talked about, or you can just tell your encounter, however you would like to do it. I just want you to be comfortable.
Okay, I'll just kind of start going. I just wrote down a rough timeline because, like I told you earlier, the timeline's kind of crazy just because of what I was going through in that relationship.
Mhm.
But I'll get into this later on. But really, what you said on your live made so much sense to me. And so when you hear what I say tonight, you're going to be like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Okay. So I first want to start by saying I'm 43. I'm from upstate South Carolina. I moved up to Auburn, New York, which is upstate New York, in like 2009. I remember when I was a very young child, my godmom saying that she had Bigfoot on her property, and you could hear them, but I didn't really think it was a Bigfoot. And that was I was like 5'6". So I didn't. Everybody's heard of Bigfoot, but you've never heard of these things. So anyway, about winter of 2020, because there was snow on the ground, I'm not afraid of the dark. I lived in a 2-story house, and this is how it started. I would get up to go to use the bathroom at night, and it was downstairs. I just started getting this irrational primal fear. And I would run down my stairs and flip on the the living room light, and then run to the bathroom and run back upstairs. It went from that to I would run downstairs, flip on the light, all the lights downstairs, and tell my boyfriend, don't turn the lights off downstairs. Then it went from that to me waking him up at 3 a.m. to come use the bathroom with me. And I knew I was being stalked by something, but I didn't know what it was. I never saw them. It happened for like 2 weeks in 2020. And I thought, it's a shadow person, a demon. There's definitely something going through my neighborhood. I was just terrified, and I didn't know why, but I knew something was out there. And I would like let my cats out, and I would just try to act like I just had this fear in me that if I let it know that I knew that it was out there, that it would like attach to me or something, right? So that happened, and then suddenly the fear just went away. No problems. Let's get into about spring of 2021.
Can I
I
ask you
started.
one quick question?
Okay.
That whenever you said you were afraid inside of your home and
Uh-huh.
that you were leaving the light on and stuff, did you have something that had happened inside of your home that had caused you to be afraid, like anything
No,
supernatural or just a
no,
feeling?
no. That's what was like bothering me so bad. Is I've never been afraid of the dark. And I was suddenly terrified to go use my own bathroom. Like I was just scared. And then, and during that time too, outside of my bedroom window was the porch roof. And I would just always be scared that something was on that damn roof. But anyway, I would literally have my whole body under the blanket and just not look like a little child. That's how scared I was.
Right.
Well, so fast forward spring of 2021, I started kind of getting those feelings again. And I'm like, something is going on. Well, so it was late summer, early fall, because I can remember like the foliage. So, okay, we lived in a 2-story house and our backyard was pretty big. And so the back porch has got like one flight of stairs up it and then just the deck. Well, at the back of our property, there's a huge fence with barbed wire. Oh gosh, my heart rate is going up. Um, and so you know how tall those fences are because they have like the 3 strands of barbed wire because there's all these woods back there, and there's also hollers and like this mountain to the right and railroad tracks. But there used to be a junkyard back there years ago, which is why the fence with the barbed wire was there. So at the back of our yard, right against that fence, okay, to the left of our yard, there's a bunch of pine trees, and they're very tall, like someone had planted them for like privacy. And then there's the fence, and we had the kids' play set, and then right next to that's a shed. And then about 5 feet over from the shed is a huge tree, but the tree's like literally touching the fence, and the shed's just a few feet in front of the fence. Ugh. It's crazy how your body like remembers, your nervous system remembers. My heart rate's through the roof.
Right.
So I was on the back porch smoking one night, and this damn thing, y'all, it stepped out from behind that damn shed. And my neighbors had a light. I mean, this thing was as black as midnight. It was huge. You couldn't even see, like it just took up the whole damn space in between the fence and the tree. And it's like it was just crazy. But it smiled. And this is what I tell you the other night too. I could literally like see the drool like glisten on all these teeth. I mean, it's just nightmare fuel. And the eyes, like that's the next big thing. Is like a lot of people describe them as amber or red. For me, they were like embers. It was like looking at fire. Like it was like looking into the pits of hell if I had to compare it to something. But I mean, I turned around, it couldn't have been more than 5 seconds. I beat feet, I pissed myself. It's embarrassing to say, but I did. And I mean, I just ran upstairs, locked up the house, locked myself and my cats in the room, and just cried all night. And thought I was crazy, didn't know what I had seen. I mean, it shattered my worldview. And so sorry. Um After that happened, I just like I didn't tell anybody for a few days, but then I started telling people, and they're telling me I'm crazy and just all this stuff. And I'm like, am I crazy? You know, I didn't have a word for these things. I had no idea, and I was completely alone in this. And I had watched the Mr. Baldwin podcast about the walking wolves of Palmyra. And I watched it once and I still didn't really put two and two together with it, right? Well, I watched it again because I was just so intrigued by it. And I'm like, I wonder if that's the same thing, but I wasn't really putting it together. And then one of Vic Cundiff's videos happened to be in the algorithm. And I watched one of those and I was like, that's it. That's what it was. And then I just had this quest for unquenchable thirst for knowledge about them. And I've just been in the rabbit hole ever since, just trying to learn everything I can about them. But so that was so that was, let's get into, that was late summer. I'm going down my thing. So let's segue into February 2022. I had a supernatural experience with Jesus Christ in my living room. And just completely me alone. And I was born again that night. And it seems like after that happened, I mean, I was just praying hedges of protection around my house all the time. And so all of this was February 2022. All that, it's like, that's why I think they're nomadic, because it's like they seem to come through at certain times of year through that property. And I'm like, are they using the railroad tracks? I don't know. But anyway, so then that whole, from then until like the spring of 2022, 23, all I was seeing was eye shine across the house, across my street, out of my bedroom window. There's the houses across the street, and then there's this huge hill, and the backs of the houses on the next street. And I would just see their eyes shine out there all the time. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's that I found my way back to God, but I wasn't as scared, and they didn't seem to be bothering me as much. But what I kind of think happened now is going back into what you said last night about, hey, say these things follow you or they're around you and your spouse isn't Christian. Does that make them susceptible to it? Because me and him had been together at this point since 2016. The guy never did drugs. He had the same job for 19 years, just totally different. It was like night and day. He changed so much in 2023, become extremely abusive. Okay, be careful. Sorry, my niece was leaving.
Oh, you're fine.
Become extremely abusive. Was like using drugs, doing all this stuff to abuse me. I mean, he wasn't hiding the drug addiction very well, but he was trying. Fast forward to April but he really started really bad in December. It got really bad because I called the cops on him several times. The cops didn't want to believe me, the stuff that he was doing, because it was always a bunch of them against me. Like, he would have his family there, and they would always say that I was the one that wasn't telling the truth. The gang stalking thing. But anyway, that I was talking to you about earlier, Mike. But anyway, he helped, like, I was leaving him, and it was in April of 2024, and he lost his mind. He held me hostage for 3 days, and I went beat the shit out of me. He was ripping my Bibles up, y'all. And I just, looking back at all that, I wonder if something associated with them didn't get him. I don't know.
So, backing up just a little bit, whenever it stepped from behind the building that you seen it step from behind, was it on all fours or was it bipedal at that time?
No, it was bipedal. It was standing up. Its ears it had like the sharp pointy ears. There weren't any tufts of hair, but they were above the top of that barbed wire line. And so
you
I don't know how tall the standard barbed wire fences are, but they're huge.
Right. And you also stated that it had maybe more teeth than what a regular canine would have.
It had an abnormal amount of teeth in its mouth. and they were so sharp, and it was almost like they were almost like the blades on a saw or something, like just really pointy and like kind of turned in, almost like a shark's teeth, I guess, but kind of not.
Wow. So was there a smell with it whenever you encountered it?
I did not smell it at all. Nothing. But it's a pretty good distance. And I don't know if the wind, but I didn't smell it at all then. But I have smelled them other times.
And the eyes are what really stood out to you. You said they was more of an orange fire than a yellow amber.
Yeah. But it was like there was a little bit of yellow in it. That's what it just reminded me of, fire.
So whenever it stepped out, you said that it smiled at you, which is very common with what I'm finding that these creatures like to do. Did it turn its head to the side when it smiled at you, or did it look straight forward at you when it smiled at you?
It was straightforward at me. It never, like, it stepped out and it smiled. And it was the most menacing thing. It wanted me to piss my pants. It wanted me scared.
Did it, whenever it stepped out and it smiled, could you tell, how would you describe the snout on it?
It was like a German Shepherd. It was long.
Wow. Did you all keep any kind of like cat feed or dog feed behind that building, you think, that would have brought it up
Nothing.
there?
No.
Nothing?
Mm-mm. No. I
You
think
said-
that there's a lot of deer on that property. I really honestly think they move with the food a lot, but I also don't think that they're here all the time. I think that they cloak and they can disappear.
You said this
Because on
started
the
in-
porch, when I was telling you, the house across the street, on the other street over, the back porch, one night it was like and their side light was on. I got a glimpse of what I think was the silhouette of a Sabe, and I blinked my eyes and it was gone. So I really do think that they're not here all the time.
When did you say this started? It was in 2020 it started?
Yeah, winter of 2020.
I can tell you what I have found out as far as the migration, that what I have experienced as far as that. I know at my granny's house, as far as migrating to a whole different area, it seemed like they did not actually like completely leave. They would migrate possibly deeper into the woods to be able to have more cover in the fall, but they would still arrive at the home place. It would just be a little later than what they normally would be there in the summer, which would make you, speculate that they have moved further away, had further to travel to make the travel to the house. But they were there year round. But it was, summertime. I believe the time they said was around 8:30, and then as the foliage left, the times would change. It's kind of like they were moving with the cover that they had. It was really interesting whenever you really think about it. It's really
That
smart.
makes perfect sense. I was thinking about that today when I was writing down, because I can remember how the foliage would be. So that makes perfect sense that they would go deeper so they wouldn't be seen as much.
Right. Did you ever have a sense of dread, or did you ever have a sense of like you thought that it was going to try to come in after you?
Oh yeah, that whole night that it happened, I was absolutely terrified that thing was going to come into the house. I was terrified. I mean, for a long time, I didn't leave my house for like 2 years. I really didn't. And if I did have to go to the store, I would go midday and it would be very quick. Like, it really almost ruined my life.
I can see how that could happen. These things are definitely scary. They're evil, in my opinion. I believe them to be evil. You spoke a little bit about on the phone with me, and then you texted me, and we spoke a little bit. And I want you to lead this because I don't know how far into this you want to go. But you said last night, whenever I was talking about hunting them, looking for them, and having spiritual openings, you think might be something that can cause these things to be able to manifest, hunt you, or attach to you. What have you experienced that led you to believe that, and why did that, you know, touch you so much? Why did it make you really listen to that?
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. So I was born and raised Southern Baptist. I was baptized, saved, all that stuff on my own accord at like 10 years old. Um, and I had something really bad happen to me when I was 16, and I lost my faith. And in fact, I was downright pissed off at God, to be honest. And but I never became atheist. I was always agnostic. I was like, there's something more. There's something more. You know. Well, when I was growing up, I had a lot of friends that were pagans, and it's so crazy because most of them now are Christian. But I started talking to a lot of people that were pagan, and I was kind of exploring their religion. And I don't know if that's the thing that led them to me. I mean, I never said I was a pagan or anything like that, but I was researching it and all that good stuff. And then I'm doing a podcast. I'm live. Say hey, nephew. Sorry, that was my nephew. Anyway, I really think that might have just uh, not having a relationship with God, because a
So
lot changed when I go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you started researching these after you had lost your relationship with Christ whenever you started having these encounters.
Well, that was in like 2018 when I started really kind of researching it, and then really in 2019, and then that shit started happening in 2020.
That's very interesting. So
It is.
did you find that while you researched them, studied them, did their presence get more and more?
Well, I really, looking back, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how heavy. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I
Right.
do know that when I was sitting in my living room completely alone at night, February of 2022, and I was watching a video by this Native American guy about how to make jerky without flies blowing on it, you know?
Mhm.
So the very next video of his that popped up after that video was a video of him reading the Bible. And all of a sudden, I'm telling you, Jesus just knocked right on my heart, and I just dropped to my knees and I started crying. I was like, "Yes, please, please come in," you know. And it was supernatural. I can't. It's like Jesus was right in my living room hugging me. I can't explain it. But after that, it seemed to get better. But I really wonder if they were targeting him more.
Mhm.
I
So
don't know.
Dawn wanted to know, did you notice if it had a tail?
I did not see the back of it.
Okay. And my question is, did your husband at the time, did he mention being attacked spiritually or physically by these things?
No, but he was godless. He didn't believe in God. He was atheist.
So it wasn't
And
really it wasn't bothering him that you know of.
no, no, but I've seen a change in his behavior because he was obviously atheist the whole time, you know. But I saw a huge change in his behavior after I was born again. And I honestly, I wonder after hearing what you said last night, if because the devil couldn't get me that way, it tried to get me through him. Because when I tell you that man held me hostage for 3 days at knife point and beat my face in with a towel rack to the point my nose was broke and it knocked out all of my top teeth, and I had to have Uber Eats call the police to kick in the door, and he was arrested and get low to this. I was in fight the whole 3 days. I just kept hearing, "Be still and hold your peace, my child. Vengeance is mine." I just kept hearing that over and over. And I never retaliated. I just took it on the chin. And the day that the cops kicked in the door, I was in such fight or flight. I didn't even realize what day it was. And when the female officer was upstairs with me in my bedroom, she goes, "Oh my God, it got really dark." And I'm like, "What?" And it was the day of the solar eclipse. When they were putting him in the back of that car, the sky blacked out. And I said, "You might be the problem if." And I said, "God, when you said touch not mine anointed, you really weren't playing." And I got an order of protection, and he sat in jail 10 days past his birthday. Happy birthday, asshole. But I got an order of protection, never spoke to him again, and it took me 4 months to get rid of that whole 3-story house because it had a basement, and to move me and my two cats 16 hours away back home to South Carolina. But he
Wow.
almost killed me. He told me I wasn't leaving that house unless it was in a body bag.
So
Yeah,
one of our viewers,
it makes
D
I wonder.
Truth. I was just going to say, one of our
Go
viewers said,
ahead.
how close was it to you when you seen it? About how close?
It was a pretty good distance. I want to say, I'm so terrible with distance, but is it really maybe a quarter of a football field? Like, it was pretty far. Our backyard's pretty big. I tried to access my email account, and they're looking at it now because he hacked all my email accounts that had all of these pictures. And I even have a picture of some footprints in the snow where something had come up to the back door up there, but I can't. I'm trying so hard to get these pictures. But I can draw a diagram,
right?
And send it to you, and of the layout, and you can upload it.
Yeah, I would throw that in Patreon if you wanted to send it. But it's so weird to me. It is so strange. It's like, you have this bad moment to where you fall away from your faith. These things arrive. Your husband, what was it, 20 years at the
Boyfriend,
same
I wasn't
place.
ever stupid enough to marry the guy.
so your boyfriend of 20 years having a steady job at the same place, not being this way, and then all of a
we were
sudden
together for 8 years, but he had the same job for 20 years. Is what I was saying.
right, and then all of a sudden his behavior changes,
It
and
really did.
he starts threatening your life, and it's like you're not only being hunted by these things, it's kind of like they're hunting you through him. And that that makes sense because the preacher that I spoke about, they will find the weakest person in your home, and they will exploit them to attack you. They will possess them, oppress them, attach to them, build an altar in your home. They will make themselves right at home, and I'm really glad that you brought that up because, not saying I didn't believe the preacher, but I still have that investigator mentality that you can tell me,
Right.
and I'm going to believe 80% of what you tell me unless I'm physically there. But
Right.
the more evidence that corroborates with what he said from people that had never met the pastor, that to me just gives it that much more standing and says, hey, there's something here. There is definitely something to this.
When I caught that part, and that was about the only part of that live I was able to catch. So it's like God don't miss, man. That was Holy Spirit. That's the only part that I saw, because as soon as you said that, a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, "You know what? I think that really might be what was happening."
Right. Man, whenever it stepped out and it smiled at you, could you see its hands or any part of its hands?
No.
So
Well,
you're
it was
talking that,
grabbing like the tree, but I couldn't really see, but it was like kind of way that the outline was. I was under the impression that it had its arm behind that tree.
right. So, from the way you explain it, the hands, the barbed wire fence, and everything, just a rough guess. I would say you was looking at something between 6-8 foot.
I think 8 foot.
8 foot.
Because
It
my friend Josh Tarot, who was 6'6", used to not go all the way up to that barbed wire.
did it ever scratch on your house? Try to look in your windows, whistle, any other calls or anything that you would hear?
Oh, I would hear all kinds of crazy whistles all the time. And I think that they would follow me because I told you about how I went over to my friend's house one night and it was across from the dam, which is right there, waterway, and the railroad track runs right there, which goes right to my house, which not that that matters. But we were sitting in her living room and the windows were cracked and that awful hot garbage, rotten meat smell just blasted in the house. And I started crying and freaking out and going, I gotta leave, I gotta leave, I gotta leave. But I was scared to leave. And she's going, what's wrong? What's wrong? So I finally told her. And she goes, oh my God, I was at my daughter's house on North Division Street by the railroad tracks. And she saw a huge, she explained it like a scraggy looking wolf run across the road, but it was running funny. It looked weird.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You know,
but they,
that's common.
go ahead.
That's that's just very common. You know, there was a guy that I'd spoke to that D-Truth, I missed your question, man. I was trying to find it. If you want to repost it, I'll get to it. There was a guy that I was speaking to that actually, I believe he worked for a funeral home, and he had an encounter with a werewolf on the road. But after the encounter, as he's driving away, he ends up seeing what appears to be an old mangy wolf that's going across the road. But then the wolf looks at him and turns its head the same way that the creature did. So it's like, you know, some people speculate that the werewolves don't actually transform from a human to a werewolf. Some think they go from a wolf to a werewolf. You know, there's a whole lot of different theories out there.
What's your opinion on that? Do you think there's a difference between dogmen and werewolves?
Okay, you're going to get an investigator's answer.
That's what I want. I've been watching you a long time, Mike. I respect your opinion.
I will do my best. What I believe is, since I have never witnessed the rear-facing legs, I tend to stand with what the natives told me, that you're looking at the same thing. I'm not saying that that's correct. I'm going to say 80%. I'm open to changing my mind, but whenever you look at a group of people such as the natives that spoke with them, traded with them, lived with them, fought with them, I mean, who knew them better, right? And then whenever I would talk to them about their legs being, you know, backwards and everything, they kind of look at you like, what the hell are you talking about, you know? And so my thing would be 80%, I would say, as far as my opinion, I believe a dogman and a werewolf are pretty much the same thing. And if they're not, does it really matter about their legs? You know, it really, you know, it's kind of like.
I think that there are some with the digigrade legs, but I think it's the same. It's the fruit off the same tree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe every one of these, you know, is like the spider web theory. You've got, you know, Satan in the middle, and they've all branched out from that. That it's all the same thing. Then, you know, the Native Americans believe that they all come from the same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there seems to be a high agreement that they do come from the same source. Is it maybe whenever, you know, just a theory? Is it maybe that whenever we see something out there and its legs are reversed, you know, that say that is the fact, does that mean that they're always reversed, or does that mean that we're seeing something that has not truly completely transform.
Oh, that's a thought. I'm gonna have to kick that around.
And and here's some more folklore for you. Native Americans believe that shapeshifters, depending on the ritual, and I'm not going to go into what they sacrifice, but as to what they sacrifice and how close the blood lineage is to the person that does the sacrifice, that is how much more power they have. So let's say you take somebody that doesn't sacrifice something as close to him in his lineage, but he goes through the sacrificial ceremony, but he doesn't quite have that power to go completely. So whenever he does do the shape shifting, he's not quite able to go to that complete human legs. So he's still got a lot of that dog left in him, but he's still got enough that he has transformed. And then you say, let's
Right.
take like, I'm not going to say no names, but the Girl Scouts, you take that gentleman and he sacrificed somebody close to him and maybe even several to him, then he would, by Native American belief, he would have the ability to
do
shape
what he
shift
did.
and into more things, a dog, an owl,
Yeah.
a bird. The closer they do that, the more power that they have.
Well, I don't understand a lot of people that can believe that these things are real, but they believe they're 100% flesh and blood. Like, if you can believe that they're real and you can see something that's crazy, it's not a far stretch to believe, that they could turn into other things. I don't think that it's all flesh and blood. I kind of have a theory that the longer that they're in that form, they may get stuck there.
I kind of came to the conclusion, and it goes all the way back. And this is just my theory. I'm not pushing this on anyone. Everybody knows I leave. It's just open to discussion. But just based on what I have investigated and what I have looked at biblically and what matches and everything to me is, we started out with the Nephilim. The Nephilim, we know, of course, brought the flood. The flood killed the Nephilim. The Nephilim became, disembodied. We ended up with the demons. We ended up with what we know was Nephilim before the flood and after the flood, which lets us know that there was a bloodline that was able to pass from the flood, which we believe was probably one of the boys on the ark's wife. And if that happened, you're not dealing with a full blood Nephilim. Now what you're dealing with is an Eliod. You're dealing with a watered down Nephilim lineage. And we know that the animals were all, their DNA was corrupted by the fallen. So I think what you're dealing with as a matter of flesh and blood is they are flesh and blood. I believe that they will die. I believe they can be injured. There's too many things that happens to let you believe that. Number one, you pull a gun, they run. Number two, I've shot one and I've seen the blood myself. Number
That
three,
was a good story.
yeah. And so there's too many things that support them being able to, I mean, why would they be at the back of my grandma's house cramming scraps in their mouth if they didn't need food to survive, right? So why are they killing animals? It's because I believe this. But here's the kicker. This is what I believe too. They say that 25% of all people that have a cryptid encounter will have a supernatural or paranormal encounter. I believe what's happening is, even though you have that watered down Eliod bloodline, which also known as your cryptids, you have them around your home. But then you have to remember, we also have demons, which are the disembodied Nephilim. So the demons are going to be attracted to the cryptids because there is lineage there. They're family, okay? So if you have a cryptid come to your home, it's almost like somebody that uses a Ouija board in a weird sense that speaks to spirits that follow them. They're going to have that.
You don't know what you're talking to, right?
Right. They're going to have that. What would you call it? They're going to have a. It's hard to kind of. I would call it. They're
An
going to have
essence
an
about them?
attachment. right, or an
Yeah.
attachment.
And
So when they come, they come to your house. What's that attachment going to do? Of course, the flesh and blood are going to stay outside of the home, but that attachment, that demon, if that home has an opening, what's that demon going to look for? It's going to look for a body to
he
possess.
brought a really dark, kind of, in my opinion, an evil person. The way they were dressed, and it just, you could tell they were like into some dark shit to the house.
That's
And
funny you said that.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Have you ever heard about negative RH blood?
Mhm.
Yes.
I have that.
Mhm.
And I wonder sometimes if that's what, because I've had many supernatural encounters since this shit's
Okay.
happened.
I'm
I
going to get
wonder if it has anything to do with it.
I'm going to get in trouble for this. But no, I don't think so. And I will
Right.
explain. I will elaborate. My granny and everybody, with everything they had down there, supernatural to the physical, to the cryptids, to everything,
Hmm.
no RA blood.
Right. Okay.
So I think my opinion is, and we'll have chat chime in here because I do like our chat to get involved.
Well,
I think it's
it's
more.
important to not live in an echo chamber and to talk to other people that have different opinions than you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always open to changing my mind. But I try to look at the facts of it, and the thing that I come up with is, it seems to me, less of the blood you carry and more of the spiritual opening you have. I think your spiritual opening is more important than your blood. And
Oh, absolutely.
I think that has a big thing to do with it. And that was going to be my next question to you, was going to be, did you or your boyfriend have any connections to any witches or anyone that was practicing the dark arts or the dark magic?
No, I didn't. Like the people that but the person that he brought to the house, but I don't remember if it was before I got stalked in 2020 or after that this person came to the house. But I think that they were in some dark shit. And I told him don't ever bring them back to his house. Like they gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Makes you wonder what that guy was into. That was, what I really started wondering is, I wonder, because again, I don't believe personally that it has to be a cryptid that has an attachment that brings something to your home. It can be somebody. It doesn't have to be a cryptid. I mean,
100% agree.
I think you can have the supernatural without the cryptid, encounter. But the cryptid will bring you, they say approximately 25% chance. So I think you can have the demon without the cryptid. And I think that whenever you have the cryptid, you got a good chance of seeing the demon.
Yeah. What is your opinion about Sabe? Do you think that they're evil?
I believe that all those are. I believe that
Yeah.
they all come from the same source. It's kind of like,
same.
kind of like if you took Satan and then you just take his bloodline and you just spread it out.
So my question to that though is, you hear a lot of stories about Sabe that have helped people.
Right. I mean,
I don't think you should trust them. Maybe they're having a good day that day, right?
It kind of reminds me of a story that I actually done last night. It helped them get unstuck, and then it went back and ate the lady that was in the Jeep.
Oh wow!
I think that what they do is, we know a lot of people want to look at Satan as this ugly, mean creature that's coming to destroy you. And really, if you think about it, if Satan came to you that way, he'd scare the hell out of you.
Everything you want.
Right. Nobody would want anything to do with him. They'd be like, hell no, I don't want nothing to do with that thing. Look how evil it is. That thing wants to eat and kill me. But if he comes to you, as the Bible says, and he comes to you disguised as the light, as beautiful, offering you everything that you want, of course you're going to want that, because, I mean, he pulls you in by deception.
Right.
So I think that it's one of those things, kind of like, let's look at it like this. and maybe this will make sense to you. I'm going to explain it to you in a farm, and this is a farmer backwoods explanation. So you have a farmer that sits up all night and he watches the sheep. And then you have the wolf that sneaks in that tries to eat the sheep. So the farmer will shoot the wolf to save the sheep. He will feed the sheep. He will, shear the sheep. He'll give them a place to stay. He'll protect them all night long. But what happens to the sheep when it comes butcher time?
They're getting slaughtered.
Right. So they're really not the farmer's friend. They are just important to the farmer.
Right.
He's going to keep them, and he's going to feed them, and he's going to fatten them out and make them how he wants them. And then once they do everything he needs them to do, they grow. They make the babies to sell at the sale. You get the wool. You get the milk. They're no longer useful to you, so you eat them, and then you move on to their children, and you just keep doing the same thing. AK, generational curses. It follows down.
I feel like with that, the devil knows what worked on your parents. What their weak spots were. So he's gonna attack you with the same things.
Absolutely. And why would he, it's kind of like if you find a good hunting place, why would you go look somewhere else, right? Whenever you already know where you can get what you're looking for. And I think that's why it's important that people, sense. People make, that we go and we break those generational curses, I think that's very important.
I think I think I'm the one in my bloodline that's done that. There's been a lot of trauma in my family, a lot of trauma. And I wonder sometimes if it's because I am the one that's that generational curse breaker, if I've just got attacked a lot more.
Well, there's an old saying that says if the devil's not attacking you, then you're not living the right life.
Ain't that the truth?
I read something the other night. I don't remember it verbatim, but it said that we are supposed to rejoice in our hard times because it builds character and it builds strength. And God puts you through that to rebuild you, to form you for what he's preparing you for.
What I kept saying so many nights up there? I would say he's forging me in fire. It's his holy fire. I'm being strengthened, I'm being tempered.
Well, we know that he said that, John the Baptist said, as I baptize you by water, but Jesus will come and he will baptize you by fire.
It makes sense because that really, when you strip everything away and I had nothing, and I found God. I found God, and he was always there, and that was like the big message that night, that Jesus I've always been here. I never left. I was just waiting on you to come back.
That's the thing. He never leaves. We're the one that leaves. He never leaves, and he'll never forsake, he'll never forsake you.
Absolutely. Okay, listen, hon, my phone is dying and I have to be on the front porch to talk to you because my Wi-Fi goes out all the time. But I have a lot more things that happen. Like I told you about the thing I saw on the 4-wheeler and stuff. I mean, I would love to come back on another time if you guys would have me.
Absolutely. We'll work it out and we will get you on the schedule and we will get all of that figured out, and we might even do a premiere. How about that? We may even just drop a premiere on it. So I know we had talked.
Sounds good to me.
That we talked about that, and I'm guessing you probably need to run, right?
Yeah, but okay. I want to close with this. I want to close with prayer.
The floor is yours.
All right, dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you place a hedge of protection around everyone I know and everyone I don't know, especially these guys. They're good ones. I ask that they know joy and happiness. I ask that they know temperance and peace. I ask that they know faith and family. Most importantly, I ask that they know you and love. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Erica, thank you for being so brave and for
All
sharing
right,
your
so
stories tonight. It's been an honor.
Yeah. Thank you, Erica.
No, it's been an honor for me. Thank you guys for having me because Mike, your channel really helped me. And I honestly think the bullshit that you're going through is because you're chosen. Because it don't make no sense because you didn't do nothing for that shit. It don't make no sense. But anyway, um
I
just
appreciate that.
no problem. I've been here since the beginning, so I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. But
Well, I sure
anyway, just
appreciate that.
oh no problem. Keep fighting the good fight, man, because we know how this ends. The light always wins.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Okay, you guys have a good night and thank you for having me again. And just message me and we'll set up something.
All right. We sure will. And God bless you.
Have a
God
good
bless
night.
you.
God bless.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
She had a lot of great stories to tell, and it took a lot for her to tell it. I know that whenever I interviewed her yesterday, she was it bothers her, and it bothers a lot of people.
That's understandable. Yeah.
D Truth, I wanted to thank you for that, for finding that verse for me. I could not remember the verse, but it's a powerful verse to me, and I read it the other night, and I was like, wow, that really resonates. It hits home. That is a very powerful verse.
What verse?
We are to rejoice in our suffering.
Oh.
Yeah, it's God making you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, by the time he gets done with me, I should be really strong. But guys, I really don't have much more. How many of y'all are planning on joining me tomorrow for the live drive around, looking for a boots on the ground? I'm going to have Mom ride around with this too. And I think we're just going to do just a drive around and try to find a place. So how many of y'all are interested in riding around with this and then doing a boots on the ground Sunday at a place we find? Is that something y'all are interested in? If it is, I'll absolutely do that. If it's not, don't worry about it. I'll just go find a place. It does not matter, I promise. It's whatever you guys want. When is Randy, you just got a question from Silver Bullet. I want to let Randy answer that. Randy. Mr. Petticourt, you have a question, sir, and I'm going to throw it up here if I can get it to. I'm telling you what, I've been battling this chat.
And
Okay, Randy, it ain't going to work. So I'm just Randy Silver Bullet wants to know, when are you coming back on as a co-host with me and Jesse?
And Tyler, absolutely, you can come on the show. Make sure you email Mike or message him, however, and
Oh yeah,
set something up.
Tyler, send me an email, man, and we will get on it. July, guys, July is going to be a big month. I've been telling all of my moderators and everybody, get ready for July. I'm really going to be pushing a lot in July. I'm already speaking to a person that's going to be a very interesting live, I do believe. And coming up, hopefully Monday, possibly, I have another person going to be coming on live. It's going to talk about their life in a funeral home and what they went through. So, yeah, some of that haunting in Connecticut stuff there that I don't like that stuff, but we're going to bring it on. We're going to talk about it. Hello, Blue Biddy. Good to see you. She said her phone died. Uh-oh, you're going to have to rewatch it now. Please drop me a like, guys. It's very important that y'all smash the like button. It sure helps put me out there on the algorithm. Last night, our show was mass reported. It hadn't even been dropped a while ago when I checked. It was still showing 3 days out and hadn't even been dropped to the YouTube studio, which is funny. It doesn't matter to me, but whatever.
I think it finally dropped just before we went live because I did see chat and everything in there, so I think it was just recently.
Yeah, so it was held for a while, which that's okay. It doesn't bother me, guys. I laugh about it. But y'all want me to do the live tomorrow? Say live, and no if you don't, and I'll decide what I'll do tomorrow, if I'm going to go live and look for a spot with y'all or not. So
I think it'll be good.
Amanda, there's Amanda. Amanda, I hope everything's going good for you. I asked everybody to say a prayer for you guys.
Everybody says live.
Live. And how many of y'all are going to come to my live on Sunday? It's going to be about trying to avoid snake bites on Wide Open Adventures. And do we have that link? Or probably, do you have the right link? I don't have it tonight.
Actually, I can put in the actual link to the show, and everybody can actually go in and just set up notifications right away.
Yeah, guys, we're going to do a really good live Wide Open Adventures Sunday. We're going to talk about snake bites, what kind of snakes we have, and mostly here in Oklahoma, how to avoid them, what to do if you're bit. And I'd love to have all y'all over there. Again, it'll be another live where we're just going to hang out and kind of just chill out. And I'm sure Randy will be there. Hopefully, Randy will be there.
Hopefully.
MRL, we're trying to get Randy back on here just as soon as we can. I get so many questions about you, Randy. So many people email me, message me. Everybody wants Randy. So kind of like everybody wants Raymond, except for everybody wants Randy. So Randy, we're ready to have you back on the show.
So here is the link to the Wide Open Adventures show, guys, on Sunday. Go in, hit notify, so it'll actually notify you before it's going to start.
No, Randy. All right, Jess, if you want to, we're going to end another one.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate everybody very much for the support, the prayers, and make sure you leave a comment afterwards too, because that also helps beat them trolls and help with the algorithm. And stay hydrated in this heat. Check on your neighbors. Hopefully this heat wave will pass by soon, and the rain for you will stop soon, Mike, and you can get out there and everything can kind of settle down. But everybody take care. God bless. And we will all see you Sunday.
All right, guys, I just want to start off by saying, Hunter, I love you. I miss you. I am so sorry that these lies have divided us. He knows the truth. I know the truth, and it's sad. I miss him. I'm ready to bring him home. I'm ready to pick our life up where we was so rudely torn apart, where we had so many plans that we were doing. But I have not stopped fighting. It may seem that way. Things got quiet for a while, but we have not stopped fighting. As long as there is breath in me, I will fight. Our Lord Jesus Christ says, where there is breath, there is hope. And he says that all that is done in the darkness will be brought to the light. And I believe with all my heart that there's one thing Jesus can't do, and there's another thing that Jesus won't do. And I believe the thing that Jesus can't do is lie. And I believe the one thing he won't ever change is free will. But there's also a catch on the free will. His will be done, no matter what. Guys, we will see you on the next one. Thank you for being here. Love you guys. We'll see you Sunday night, Wide Open Adventures. Or Sunday, Wide Open Adventures. It'll be early because I'm going boots on the ground Sunday night. So it'll be a double whammer for me. But we will see you Sunday, Wide Open Adventures, Sunday night, boots on the ground. And then tomorrow we're going to be live, driving around trying to find a place. Man, y'all's getting a lot of lives out of this. I'm going to be tired. All right, guys, but you're worth it. Each and every one of you is worth it. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. Good night, and God bless. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that.